Hello everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and today we're going to talk about some of my best budget hacks for 2023. So let's get started. We are gluten-free, my husband more so than me. It makes him really sick. So we are making our own gluten-free bread. As you can see, it came out beautifully. I got a recipe from one of my friends that is also gluten-free. And gluten-free bread costs so much money. I think the cheapest loaves are like $6.99 and they're really tiny. So we're going to try our hand at this year and see how much money we can save. We have also started taking our bacon and cutting it right down the middle when we get it to make twice as much bacon. And yes, it's kind of a mirage to make you think that you have more bacon, but we found that it doesn't curl as much when we cook it, and we've been able to cut back on bacon because yes, it is kind of a mirage. It makes us think we have two pieces when we actually have one. So we've cut way back on some of these things, and it's been able to help us save money, and I hope these little hacks will help you too. Many of you probably grew up with this orange juice that's frozen in the container. We buy this all the time instead of buying any other kind of juice. And some people will tell you, oh, just give up the juice. But this is orange juice concentrate in water. So, I mean, it doesn't have a bunch of added anything to it. And this is what we always had growing up. It saves us a lot of money. It's much cheaper than buying that prepared juice. Again, you're paying for the convenience. So we find this at Aldi, and we also find it at Walmart. And fresh fruits and vegetables, we've started buying those just with the intention of freezing them. For instance, if we find peppers on sale, we will buy those, and to make sure that they don't go to waste and that we have them handy and chopped and ready to go, we just go ahead and chop them all up and freeze them immediately. I like to keep different colored ones, and we do this with onions too. It's a great way to catch things on sale and get a really good price for them, even if you don't need them right now. And I do not meal plan. A lot of people will recommend that you meal plan, but I'm able to throw a meal together based on what I have. And so I only buy perishables, and I only buy clearance and markdowns. We do a lot of stews, a lot of soups, a lot of beans. We do a lot of things that we can make in a big pot and then eat it for 2 or 3 days. I find that we get the biggest bang for our buck that way, and we can also use less meat in those dishes and still get the flavor that we want. And if you're still buying prepackaged items or little frozen meals or frozen chicken strips, anything like that, we don't buy anything like that. So moving forward, I would suggest that that be something that you try to cut out of your budget. I have seen packages of those Tyson chicken strips that only have 5 or 6 in a bag go for as high as $10 and $11.99. And that is just too much money. So try to think about cooking at home. Maybe just make that a New Year's resolution that you are going to cook at home. Over these holidays where we have been so sick, and I'm still short of breath, I apologize, from the COVID, but we have realized that we have so much food stores right now that we have saved back. We've been home now almost 2 full weeks, and we haven't had to buy anything. And we could go for so much longer. I bet we could go for a couple more months easily without even needing anything else. So start working at building up those food stores by picking up the clearance and the markdowns, and then trying to be more creative with your cooking. And I always suggest that you shop in person. You're not going to get those specials and clearance markdowns. You're not going to find those things if you are just picking it up or if you are just ordering it online. That is the best way to save money, is to shop in person. So let those sales and let those specials dictate what your menu is going to be. Like I said, I do not meal plan. I can throw things together based on what I have. And so maybe work at trying to get that skill built up a little bit where you can buy things and figure out what to make from them without having to have a specific recipe in mind, and then getting home and using what you have to come up with a dish for your family. When we make lists of things that we're out of or things that we need to make a specific dish, I feel like that's when our grocery budget really tends to go up. Next tip is to pay your bills as soon as you can. My dad would always sit down when the electric bill would come in the mail and he would write out a check immediately. I always admired that because I knew we didn't have a lot of money, and yet he didn't want to owe money to anyone, and he made sure his bills were paid first. So that's what I do. If I see that I have a little bit of extra money, I put it towards a bill. I have found that if you wait and if you sit on that money thinking, well, I might need it for something, you're going to end up using it for something. And then you are not going to be able to get ahead of the game. So rather than sitting on it when you know that you are okay right now, pay that towards a bill so that you will be a step ahead, and hopefully you can get a month ahead with your bills. We run about a month ahead with our bills, and it is such a relief to not have to worry. Like when I was sick, I didn't have to worry about due dates. I knew everything was paid. It is a huge relief, and it is a wonderful thing to work towards in 2023. And that's one of my budget hacks, is I try to pay things as soon as I have the extra money so that I know that I'm a month ahead. So don't wait just in case, because that money will appear to be extra and you will end up using it for something else, even if it is just for a pizza on Friday night, and then it'll be gone. My next tip is to stay accountable. And I personally am one of those people that I don't need to have someone else make me accountable. I'm accountable to me, and that is enough. And maybe you need someone to be like a buddy through this. But being accountable for me means that I am writing down all my purchases. And yes, it is a bummer. But if you have a budget set, you may think that you're staying in that budget, and you may not be staying in that budget. So if you have more month than money, I encourage you to sit down and look at your budget and track all of your spending and see what is actually left at the end of the month, or if you are actually not able to stay in that budget that you prepared, and then figure out ways that you can snip little areas to curve off the extra. And then my last biggest tip is to not have any knee-jerk reactions. It is so easy for us to think, I have to have it, that's just what it costs. I have to have this done, so I'm just going to pay for it. This person is already telling me what it costs, even though it's more than I want to pay. So if you feel like something is more than you want to pay, use that little instinct and that voice in your head to say, hey, is there another option? Is there another way to get this accomplished? Because those knee-jerk reactions will end up being debt, and debt is the devil, and then it is hard to get that paid off. And maybe you will find out in a week or so you could have done it a different way and saved a bunch of money if you would have just paused a bit and thought about it before you said yes. So just take a minute to problem solve. Many times it seems like there's no way out of something, when a lot of times there's multiple options. We may not always like all of the options, but there's multiple options. And so we just need to pick something else as the way to fix this problem. So I hope this is helpful to you. This is my budget tips and hacks for 2023. They're things that I live by, and I hope that they help you as you move into this new year. I look forward to your comments, and if you found value in this, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.